Bryony, we're into October now of the season, so from your point of view, how is the squad looking?
Yeah, it's looking really good. A lot of injuries from the start of the season are now back in training or getting thereabouts. I think the longest two we've had out, David Longking, Tom Eastman, both back in training now this week. They're doing really well. Progress, they've done minor setbacks and stuff as usual, what you expect, but they've hit their targets pretty well. They've recovered really good. So yeah, hopefully next few weeks we should see them starting to return. Other people, Lewis Page, other day, he went for a scan, came back pretty all clear. It was more of an impact from the tackle that he had. So he's doing well getting back into training. Elliot Johnson's just started going back outside. He tore his tendon under his foot, so that's healed really nicely. Yeah, they're all doing superbly well. A lot of the lads, a lot of distance they're covering each week. Recovering is so important. They're all doing what they should need to do.
Just touching on the injuries, what were the severities of the players, and how have they come back to where they are now back on the pitch?
Yeah, so with David and Tom, they both were hamstring tears, but two different muscles. So David had a 19cm tear and Tom had a 17cm tear. So for them to heal, obviously it takes a long time to recover and just to gain more strength in their muscles themselves so that it doesn't reoccur. Elliot's was it was more of a minor tear. It's difficult because the whole tendon under your foot is what you walk on, so he's been in a boot to try and stop his ankle from moving. It's worked really well. We've seen previous injuries like Ryan Hill's groin, that was a grade 1. Lewis Page's hamstring was a grade 1. Everything's more minor. It was just a really odd scenario with Tom and David, but yeah, everyone's come out pretty good.
Boys in training now, of course, have the GPS devices, which we haven't had before. How much of a benefit do you think they've been?
Yeah, so massive benefit to us the past month. We've been with player data for a month now, and the stats that are coming out are helping us so much to understand how much distance they're covering, so how much recovery they need. Also helps with how much acceleration decels, high top speed, metres per minute we look at. Just for how much distance they're covering, like for a minute, is great for us.
And just going back to the boys who have been injured, and obviously they're now back out on the pitch, as you said. What do you think they need to do in the next few days, weeks, potentially month or so, to keep themselves on the right track so they can get back out on the pitch on Saturday? Yeah,
so it's all about keeping what they've worked on in the gym, keeping that up for the next few weeks so they don't lose any, so the muscles don't get weak again. Strength programs, recovery, ice baths, pool work, everything just needs to be staying on top, which they are doing. There's no one not doing what they're required to do. We've got Innie back in training now as well, so he's went and saw a neurologist a week or so ago, and his return to training has increased, so we've taken that nice and steady. He's got a few more things to do, but he's recovered and done really well. We're just happy to see him back and outside enjoying himself.
Finally, my last question was on Innie. What has his comeback looked like into training, and what procedures would have to be put in place for him to return?
Yeah, so with seeing a neurologist and everything like that, obviously it was awful for the people that saw him on the day, but he has had the best treatment possible. The neurologist has given him a pretty all clear scenario, so there's no abnormalities or things that we need to be too concerned of. His training has gone from light exercise to a non-contact scenario to then now hopefully starting to build him into full-time training. When he gets his full-time training, this means that his stats and his fitness levels are where they need to be. His attitude and what he's done so far is above and beyond what we could ever expect. He's come back and he's been so good. He just wants to be out there and just wants to play the best he can. So we're waiting for just one more thing to happen, and then hopefully with all that and how fit he is and ready to go, he'll be back as soon as possible.